Hello guys, this is Marq Antini Dark 66. For the next hour, I will take you into my life, show you different aspects of my life, my friends, some of my family members, and we will show you the inside story of who I am, what I do, why I'm here. The first story I would like to tell you is let's go back in time to somewhere the year 1990 to 1994. During this time, I, Marq Antini Dark 66, was a toddler, and I was at a pool club with my dad. Coming from this pool club, we stepped into his car, and I'm sitting next to my dad, and he turns on, at the time it was Nirvana's album called Nevermind. Now, little did I know, from this point forward, listening to this music with my dad, my life would be forever changed.
Hello.
All right, Dad, what's up, man? This is my dad, Bill Fallon. We're here just chilling out on this beautiful spring day. And I'm just here with our fans, and we want to know about your musicianship, your great ear for music, your musical influences, anything you want to tell us about music. Let's hear it.
Well, for me, it started when I was very young. I was just a few years old, and my father had me playing the guitar with him.
Playing guitar?
Playing guitar to, I remember to some Beatles songs, Hank Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few years after that, my father threw me into piano lessons.
Piano lessons?
Uh-huh.
Right.
And my piano lessons ended in middle school. And then after that, I became super interested in rock and roll,
Mm-hmm.
what we call today classic rock.
Right.
So I really, my first album was Alice Cooper,
The Coop.
$1 Billion Babies.
The Coop.
My mom actually bought it for me in Long Beach Island, New Jersey.
Yeah, man.
Wow, that was great. My
Yeah.
mother, she was so cool for that. I remember coming home the same day. First thing I did when I got home was to read through the album. It was a super cool looking album.
Yeah, albums were albums like cool back then with like the artwork and stuff. Like, wasn't that?
Oh, it was
like,
great.
It was,
yeah,
it was right. That was like a main theme.
Oh yeah, the artwork was incredible.
Yeah.
So, for me, opening up that album was like opening up like something platinum, like you're saying, the artwork.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I put that $1 Billion Babies on the stereo. I mean, that whole album is just takes off.
You were blasting it. You were blasting it.
I was blasting. I had a good stereo system. Wow, man, I was so dynamite. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can relate to what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Putting on $1 Billion Babies.
Yeah.
By Alice Cooper for the first time.
Right.
So, so moving forward to you.
Yeah. Tell our fans like what your connection with me and music and me being your son and
Yeah.
Marq Antini, Dark 66, all that, like how did that ever become so real? When did music become so real for you that you ended up like working with your son on, being a rock star?
Well, you got to realize so I grew up in the 60s and 70s, so I started off with $1 Billion Babies.
Right.
And then, everybody knows the music in the 70s. I mean, that was the music revolution.
Definitely, it was revolutionary.
From
yes.
England and the United States. So
Yes.
from there, I went on to Led Zeppelin, The Who, the Rolling Stones.
Right.
Nazareth, that type of underground but popular
Right.
music.
Popular
and then
music,
fast
yeah.
forward to you.
Yeah.
When you were a toddler like I was.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. You had a similar orientation because you were only a few years old. I don't know. You may have been like 4. I
remember I was like
5.
a toddler. I was like a toddler maybe.
You were a toddler.
Yeah.
And we would drive around in my 4-door Oldsmobile. And back then we still had the cassettes.
Yeah.
And the first cassettes I had in the 90s with you was, that album by Nirvana. What's it?
Nevermind. Yeah.
Nevermind.
Yeah, Nevermind, man.
With the naked baby underwater. that was like an Alice Cooper deja vu experience.
Yeah.
But now you were the recipient.
Right.
And so you and I started driving. You were in the front seat, and I said, okay, this is as good a time as ever to orientate him towards good music, man.
Yeah.
What's better than the new Nirvana album?
Yeah.
Nevermind.
Right.
And I put that cassette in, and you're in the front seat. The volume was perfect. It was loud, but not super loud, but loud enough. And wow, you just soaked it in like a sponge,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I was SpongeBobbing it, right?
I mean, can you imagine being your age,
Yeah,
sitting there like SpongeBob and having "Smells Like Teen Spirit" come out as the first song?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, that whole album is great.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, same thing with when my first album was "Billion Dollar Babies" by Alice Cooper. It was the same type of effect.
Right, right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you were just, I would look over at you to make sure you're okay. You were perfect. You were like, you didn't move. You didn't even look at me. You were just. I said, oh,
That's
all right.
great. That's
He's
great.
just taking it in, man. I don't blame him.
That's
you know?
great. That's great.
And so that was, and then yeah, we would play Nirvana, and then around the same time you had Bush come out with
Bush. I love Bush, man.
that great album, Machine Head.
Yeah.
Come On, that song. I mean, that whole album by Bush, you know, paralleled the Nirvana
Oh, yeah.
album, and then also Pearl Jam came out with their great. So I mean, you were taking on. I mean, the best music. I mean, and for me, it was like a fusion of the new '90s rock, connecting with the classical rock
Oh,
that I
right.
grew up with. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of similarity.
Right, right.
But the '90s was like classical rock with like a new flair,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
a
Right.
new accentuation sound.
Yeah.
So
The whole grunge scene at that time, which is, it's like similar to rock and roll, but
right,
has its own twist.
exactly, yeah. The grunge is like an offshoot. So I mean, for me, I loved it. I loved it because all that new rock in the '90s was just terrific.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, it was similar to all the new rock that was coming out in the '70s. So I mean, you had like a similar orientation to music as I did,
Right.
and that's where I think, obviously, a lot of your foundation is coming from
Right, right. Yeah.
listening to just like the greatest music during the '90s when you were growing up.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely agree that music, that rock and roll from like the 60s to the 90s, I mean, that was the best, man.
Right.
I don't think it gets better than that.
Right.
You know? That's my honest opinion.
Yeah, and then as you started getting older in middle school and high school, I noticed that you had a good ear for music.
Right.
It was kind of it looked like it was just natural.
Right.
You know,
right.
you were able to even at an early age when you started singing, I noticed that you were able to keep up with the guitar players and the drummers.
Right.
So as a singer, you had that like natural connection
Right, right. Yeah.
to being in tune.
Exactly, right.
It's like tuning a guitar. You have to tune a guitar
Right.
before you start playing it. And as a singer, you have to, you have to know how all the notes are synchronized. You have to know when to sing and when not to sing. I mean, I don't know how to sing, so I couldn't. I'm not sure I could do that. I mean, I played instruments, so.
Right.
But in your case, as a singer, I think that's where definitely your foundation, I believe, came from when you and I were palling around
Definitely.
and listening to music together when you were very young.
Definitely.
So from my standpoint, it's pretty cool. It's just pretty cool to see you, grow with the music.
Right, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
know?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, that music was like ingrained in me, man.
Yeah.
You know, all that listening that we did, it was just like it came to me like second nature almost.
Yeah, you definitely have a good ear for music. No doubt about that.
Right, right. Thank you.
You have a good ear for music, and you have a good memory for music also, which is people don't. I don't know if I'm using the right word, but it's just it's you have a good understanding of it,
Right,
and you're able to go with the rhythm.
right, right.
But yeah, that's where I think it all came from. From when you were very young, and then you and I just palling around, spending a lot of time together, both both love music,
Yeah.
both listening to always the best music of the day.
Right, right.
And yeah, so I definitely think that's your foundation.
All right, well, thanks once again. This is my dad, Bill Fallon. Maybe we'll have him back later. Thanks for the word and the wisdom and the musical advice and expertise. This is my dad, and we'll see you guys later.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, Dad.
All right, so we're here at the Deep South. As you can see, this dead end sign up here. I'm here walking to the stream with Jamer, and this is what we do here at the Deep South a lot. We just like to, you know, like kind of relax and take things slow. Not trying to get the houses in the vicinity, it's just more about this dead end we're walking down to that really has nobody there. And Jamer showed me this. So you like walking down here, man?
Yeah.
What's up with this dead end over here?
Well, it's kind of like a oasis, paradise, you know, in order to bring out the naturalness of one's soul, I guess.
Right, right. I do know the other day we were here, we definitely saw some deer, like up close and personal. That's the one thing here at the Deep South is there's a lot of wildlife that's different to me than I've seen. Like I've never really encountered deers walking up to me, you know, face to face. What do you say
Well,
about
that's the Deep South for you.
Yeah.
But there's other things. There's bears and snakes and turkeys sometimes, and you know, squirrels and you know,
Right.
other things that I won't mention. But you know, it's you know, it's not exactly without its perils. And while it does have, you know, quicksand and all kinds of other things, and it does flood from time to time.
Oh yeah, that's right. You showed me that quicksand. That's right. I remember that. Wow, I haven't seen that in a while. I gotta get some footage of that.
Well, you know. But, you know, it does also bring out, you know, the darkness of one's soul and kind of mellow it out a bit.
Right. Well, here it is. Here's the dead end. So let's see what's at this dead end up here.
The creek.
What's that?
Just a creek.
Oh, just a creek. Yeah.
The Ali Freeway, as it were. Allows you to go around a whole lot of unwanted travel.
Yeah, you told me this place flooded one time.
Oh yeah, it goes all the way up to our neighbor's stairs, which is all the way down there. There it is, the Ali Freeway.
Wow. All right. Here we go. Here's the creek. And you told me that you kind of, or these rocks, I mean, like, it's pretty cool, man. You told me that it flooded a few times.
Yeah, goes all the way down there.
Wow, man. Wow, that's crazy. Crazy stuff, man. So, let's take a quick walk in here, see what's going on.
Stay on the path, man.
All right. Gotta be kind of careful walking back here. You know, I'm a rock star, but I'm not an outdoorsman, really. You know, this is kind of different for me. Kind of see the sun here shining a little bit.
Can't you just feel your soul melting away?
Feel your soul melting away. I don't know. It's kind of creepy, man, but whatever you say, dude. I'm gonna have to climb over this. Oh, okay. So here's like, I guess like another. Oh, hey, what's up, man? Oh, man, he's got his mask on. Oh,
pie?
oh, sure, yeah. Thank you so much, man. Oh, the pie. Oh, man, I love cherry pie. Wow, that was so nice of you, man. This is my favorite. I love coming to the dark south. The dark south, the deep south. There's a lot of different variations to what we're talking about here. The next thing I'm looking to see is this quicksand that he's talking about. Never really heard of that before. And this is like midday. Sometimes I've seen him walk back. I've seen Jamer walk back here during the dark, when it's real dark out. But
You can't come back here when it's dark.
you gotta be careful. I don't, me personally, I don't. And I'm just saying, you take a quick look at me. Alright. I'm not really the best guy to be in the wilderness over here, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
Huh? What's that, deer you said? Oh, look. Look at the deer. There we go. See, I'm not lying to you guys. The wildlife out here, it's pretty amazing sometimes. I'm just saying that other day when we were back here, you know, and the deer walked right up to us. Or sometimes we'll just be at the deep south and we'll be eating outside and they'll just kind of like walk up to us, you know. So, see what else we got back here. Oh, this thing, right? Okay. All right, yeah. I mean, if do I gotta walk over that?
Don't.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut it out here because I don't want to balance myself on there, man. My feet are too big. All right, we'll come back to this. All right, so here we are back again. Today is a really nice May morning. I'm getting ready to go out tonight. I'm going out with my drummer. You guys will meet him later on in the video. We are going to a culture festival tonight. There's probably going to be some good food there. I'm actually really looking forward to it. In my personal life, I enjoy history, going to learn about different cultures, trying different foods, etc., etc. So you can see a little bit of my lifestyle. When I go out in public, I sometimes like to blend in. Like you can see, I'm wearing this hat with like a low brim. So when I go to these public places, like I can blend in with people instead of stand out. I'm wearing jewelry, but moderate, not a lot like I usually do if you know, performing or something like that. Nobody's asked me for my autograph yet, but hey, you know, I'm always open for something like that. So yeah, it's like I have like different, you know, I'm wearing like a conservative shirt that I would wear to my day job, which I'm keeping that confidential because I like to still be private, or I don't like to be like up in everybody's face 24 hours a day. Sometimes when I go out, I like to just be left alone, or I like to not have people stare at me. I like to be like under the radar kind of, because if you're in this general area, I'm not going to say exactly where I am, but if you're in this general area, you know who Marq Antini Dark 66 is. And it's fun having that type of attention, you know, as like a local celebrity and all that, but I try to tone it down depending on where I'm going, who I'm with, what the occasion is. But hey, if you come see me perform, the only thing I'm saying is, wherever we may be, you better get ready to rock, because that's when I'm coming, you know, coming at you rock star style, and you know, we're about to get into it, sort of thing. So, but tonight, just hanging out with my drummer, going to a culture festival, and having some fun. So I like to blend in, be low key. If I see somebody I know, of course I'll say hello, but you know, I don't like to be so obnoxious when I go to like public events or celebrations or, you know, that type of thing. So there you go. Just so you know a little more about who I am as a person in my personal life. So awesome. All right, here we are tonight. Beautiful night here at Dark South. You can see here the nice beautiful sky. Got a lot of land going here, some nice shrubbery. Got some nice flowers set up for summertime. And we got the CEO of Dark South Limited, Jamer. Now tell me what CEO cooks chicken for his artists that work at Dark South.
Just me.
Just you, buddy. Let's see what else we got going here. Got a nice table set for two. Got some nice juicy strawberries. And this is the turtle, and its name is Erdelis. We do not know if Erdelis is a male or a female, but Erdelis is definitely here to party. Rock on, Erdelis. Hey Jamer, man, that's a really nice hat, dude.
The hat.
I mean, I think I should kind of be the one wearing that, you know?
You're gonna be the one wearing a hat, huh?
I mean, you're cooking for me, and I gotta take your hat. I mean, what could I say, dude? I can't, you know. What a gentleman! Wow! What a southern gentleman! He gives me his hat. Thank you, Jamer. So let's see how this looks on me now. Just see if it fits my style. Alright. Now we're rocking, bro. Marq Antini Dark 66. Yeah.
Hey, Mark, where you going?
Oh, what's up, man?
Come talk.
Sure.
How do you feel about Dark South, and what's it like for you getting to be in such a quiet and peaceful place?
Oh, man, let me tell you, I honestly, like, I've been working for Dark South for like a year. It's like the coolest company to work for. Jamer, the CEO, is like super cool. He helps me with all the stuff I need help with, like as an artist, as a singer, as a rock star. He cooks. He is always there for me. Even if I give him like a phone call in the middle of the day, he always gets back to me. We share creative ideas, creative content. He cooks. I practically live at Dark South. It's a great company to work for and do business with.
So I was actually thinking about showing y'all the greenhouse, because we got some really cool stuff in there. And I haven't seen it yet this season, so I always want to be kind and just show off the goods. So let's go in the greenhouse. Wow. Okay. So I guess we'll start in the back. Wow, there's a deer. You getting that? You see it?
Yep.
You got it?
How southern is that for you?
Yeah, so there's deer walking around here all the time. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. Alright, so back here, what kind of plants are these?
Well, these are blueberries.
Nice.
These
Blueberry.
little ones are freshly planted. The
Nice.
ones in the back are a couple seasons older.
Wow.
But can't really complain about fresh blueberries,
Right.
as they're literally growing right on the vine.
Yeah, I'll actually, here's like a bigger one if you could see. It's
And no pesticides or nothing.
a little ripe. That's totally natural right there.
You just come in here and eat them literally right off the vine.
That's good. I know you've grown corn, right? You grow corn.
Yes.
Right. What are all these?
This is different lettuces, and one of these is celery,
Okay.
and potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
and tomatoes.
Oh, okay. Tomatoes. Cool, cool. Very cool. So you got like the whole gamut back here in this greenhouse.
This is going to be a lily.
Lily?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
And these were irises,
Nice.
which were earlier this year.
Cool. Very nice.
There's a pipe that runs through here that waters all these.
Got some irrigation going.
These are my cactuses.
Wow. Sorry, I missed the cactuses. Nice.
This plant is what keeps the mosquitoes from eating us alive.
Right.
Our mouser cat.
Cool. Was that you said mouse or cat?
Yeah, cat.
Oh.
It's always eating mice.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, mice get hungry, so. No, this is a very nice area.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Very
These
nice
are
greenhouse.
actually strawberries, but as you can see, the deer have been eating them.
Nice.
Well, that's about all there is to it.
Well, speaking of strawberries, I think I'll have one.
Bought at the local market.
Oh man, beautiful. Dark South.
To Dark South.
Mmm.
I like looked up to at a young age for singing and inspired me later on to start singing myself. The first person would definitely be my mom. She had a lead role in middle school in the West Side Story where she had a singing part. My dad noticed her. This particular role in the play really stuck out to a lot of people. And being her son, that always like registered with me. I was like, oh, you know, my mom knows how to sing. Okay. So then not only my mom, but my two stepsisters always would be singing when we would go to church on Sundays. We went to a chapel, and I distinctly remember them always having solo singing parts in the church, getting noticed by our friends in the church as well as you know, everybody who attended. And it was, for me at the time, I wasn't, honestly, like, I wasn't really interested in it. Like, I wasn't interested in singing. in church, like I always felt a little shy. I know this sounds kind of may sound a little strange, but in church I am there to usually like focus on my faith, not really on, being serious with my vocals, even though I do sing along if there's a song to sing. Like I'm not shy of that. It just never really made me feel like I would want to have a solo singing part in a church environment. That's what I'm saying. I never felt a led or compelled to do that. I still kind of feel that way to this day. But again, it usually depends on the musicians involved. I'm usually picky when it comes to musicians, and when I'm in church, just as long as there is some type of music, which I believe that we could worship. That's all that really matters. Anyway, so let's go from there to me, like the first time that I ever actually sang. Okay, so the best way I could explain this is when you go through life and you start like feeling emotions and going through drama, and life happens. You start dealing with emotions maybe differently than other people do. Everybody handles their emotions differently. I distinctly remember this. I remember being in high school and going through, like many high schoolers do, your hormones are changing, you're experiencing different things, certain relationships you're going through for the first time. And I remember being, once again, in the car with my dad, and I'm sitting there with him, and this was right around the time that the Rolling Stones came out with their famous 40 Licks. Hold on, my phone's ringing here. Sorry about that. I get calls all the time. So, anyways, so that'll take up some time, I guess. Where was I? Okay, so this was right around the time of the Rolling Stones dropped a album. I remember it's called 40 Licks. Remember this. 40 Licks is just like a classic hits with maybe a couple new songs on it. And we were listening to Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones. And I'm sitting there and I'm going through a hard time. And for some reason I remember like feeling broken on the inside. And I remember like, how do I say this? Getting in touch with the music the same to the emotion that I was feeling. Like I remember feeling that I wanted to be alone and I wanted to be sheltered. And that's a song, Give Me Shelter. Now, being alone, I don't know if that really correlates to the song lyrics, but I just remember just feeling like so broken inside and feeling alone in the inside. And I remember in that song when that high falsetto alto comes in. Well, falsetto alto note that comes into the song, I just remember it flowing out of me and just singing and just like hitting the note, and I was right next to my dad. And I remember his reaction. It was like he wasn't like he wasn't like super impressed, but he was moved. That's the best way I could say it. He wasn't impressed, but he was like moved by what just happened with me and the music and the the like musical instrument, if you will, coming to life for like the first time. And I even sang the rest of the song. I sang the rest of the song all the way through, and I honestly don't think he ever forgot that, because he reminded me a short while ago that it was Give Me Shelter that I sang for the first time. And there's more to this talk about like being a musician and singing, and I'll share that later on. But that was the first time I ever sang. I was in the car with my dad, and I was just feeling down on myself, and I felt like I wanted to express myself, and for some reason it just kind of came off the right way. It he's really getting me into this like musical talk now. But I gotta think about what I'm gonna say before I say that. So there you have it. Those are my three inspirations. The first time I ever actually sang, which wasn't recorded. But now you know a little more about me, and why I am who I am, and why you see all of this happening. Marq Antini, Dark 66.
So, Mark, when did becoming a rock star become, well, you?
Well, I was at this. It's really interesting. I've been doing music like my whole life, basically. Okay, ever since I was like big. Like I've always been like loving music and everything. But I was at this. I went to this party. I was at this party like a few years ago. Now these guys are like my real good friends, kind of like how I'm close with you. And I walk into this party, and I mean, I don't want to ever say I stopped doing music, but like my music career at the time wasn't like as booming as it is now. And they all wanted me to like perform or do something or sing or put on a show. And I'm at this party, and even this other kid came up to me, because I actually started as a rapper. This kid comes up to me and he wants to like rap battle me at this party. And I don't have any problem with that. And of course, I'm not going to say names, because these guys are like my real friends. Like, I really love these guys. They were like my first fans and everything. But the point that I'm trying to make is, when I started receiving that type of attention, I said to myself, wow, I should really be getting paid for this. So then I meet Jamer, and Jamer likes, my content and stuff. And, of course he becomes my fan. I already have like a fan base. So I end up becoming like real serious with it. And then after that, I met my drummer, who is another great musician, who, just motivated me to, just keep going with it. Because the music, the point that I'm trying to make is, when you become a rock star, when you become a musician, it chooses you. You don't choose it. Period. So anyways, you got another question for me?
Yeah. So, what does Deep South mean to you? I mean, this place is beautiful and is so surreal, but for you, what does it mean to allow you to just relax and come out here?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, when I first met Jamer and everything, like, you know, he really helped me. First of all, I love nature, okay, because it's very peaceful and serene, and, you know, it helps me relax, helps me get away from all the constant, you know, computer stuff and you know, rock star stuff, and, you know, always looking at a screen. It just helps me unwind, it helps me relax. And I remember going to Dark South like the first few days, and I remember actually staying at Dark South like overnight, and Jamer turns the lights off, and really at Dark South, we call it Dark South for a lot of different reasons, but one of the reasons is like there's no windows in Dark South. So I was able to like really relax, get a good night's sleep, wake up, come out here, see some nature, you know. And even though I started working for Dark South, it almost seems like I live at Dark South sometimes. But that's just because me and Jamer are real close, we're like brothers. But yeah, it just became real serious for me at that time, and now you get what you see. So you know. Any other questions? All right, man. So here I am, Marq Antini, Dark 66,
So,
signing out to
for the
you
next
from
part of
Deep South here.
my musical story,
We're just kind of trekking
I'm
through the
going
woods here,
to
doing our
tell
own
you
thing.
about when I was around 10
you
years
later.
old. But before that, I'm going to tell you about somebody who is very significant to me as a musician. Really two people, but the person, in my opinion, who started it all was my grandpa on my dad's side. I want to say that when he was a young man, he used to live in Manhattan. He met my grandmother in Brooklyn. They both passed away, unfortunately, but when he was alive, he used to play piano in clubs in the city. Now, he wasn't like a professional musician or, you know, like has a YouTube channel where he gets paid like I do. But he took it seriously, and he took a lot of pride in it. And as he's playing at these clubs, what he's really doing is just gaining musician experience, learning how to play an instrument in front of people, which is totally different than if you just take lessons, by the way. If you ever really want to be a musician, there's a difference between putting on a show and learning how to play. Keep that in mind. So, I only got to know my grandpa for about 6 months. When I was 6 months old, he then passed away, but let's speed up now to about 10 years old. And I'm on my dad's side of the family, and every year for Christmas, we're celebrating Christmas, but we're also kind of like remembering my grandfather's tradition. There would always be some sort of a humor or music program on my dad's side of the family during the Christmas celebration. If you've ever been to one of my family parties, you would know that. But this type of tradition continued on for years and years and years, and on Christmas I was always not forced, but strongly encouraged to be a part of the celebration, either in a musical way or a humorous way, which also, even if you're doing things related to humor, getting up and talking in front of people, telling jokes, any type of performance is always geared towards the arts and, you know, music, etc., etc. So it's like you're learning how to perform almost. And in my opinion, this is what molded me to who you see today. Marq Antini, Dark 66. Okay, So for this part of the video, this is for those of you who are trying to become successful singers slash musicians. So the first thing I'm going to say is there's a difference between being a singer and being a musician. Now, before I give you this advice, I'm going to tell you that I've been singing for over 10 years. Okay? I've gotten to the level where I've been offered money to perform. And what I'm going to tell you is not necessarily what you think that I'm going to tell you. Like, I'm trying to help the music industry from my honest opinion. Okay? I wouldn't say that everybody has all the right answers, even if you are a successful musician slash singer. But I'm going to tell you what I feel is good for your personal growth, development, and how can you say it, like, overview of music, because it's not something that's like easily spoken about. It's and nobody has all the right answers. So here we go. All right. The first thing I'm going to say is I think these singing competition shows are really cool and everything. I think these American shows where you go to show your talent and what a great singer you are is great. Okay, I think that really can teach you a lot. Okay. But one thing I see in the music industry, and this is like very repetitious, okay, is I see these people doing these singing competitions, okay, winning $1 million, you come in first place, you're going to make an album. And then, once they win the competition, they come out with a hit album and you never see them again, ever again. Like, it's just, this person's like gone from, the spotlight or the limelight or whatever you want to call it. I think that has a lot to do with lack of musicianship. Okay, now the two things that I can honestly say from my level of success, okay, is number one, you need to work with other musicians. Number one. Now, I'm not and or at least learn one other instrument. So for instance, I'm a singer. Okay, but I also play piano. Now, I'm not saying I'm like a pianist or anything. I'm not saying you got to be like the next like Mozart. Okay, but you should learn an instrument so you can understand the language of music at any level. It doesn't matter if you're a piano player, singer, drummer. Like, you should always at least learn, even if you are playing an instrument, you should learn one other instrument. But I'm saying this especially for the singers. Especially for the singers. Okay? Because if you win that great big competition and you learn how to belt out all these high notes and everything, which I think is fabulous, okay, but like the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to be sitting in a studio with a producer who's a real musician and you just go blank. Okay, so that's my honest opinion on that. Now, in addition to learning an instrument, you know, like playing an instrument. I'm not even saying that you should put on a show with your other instrument. I'm just saying learning another instrument at home, you need as a singer experience singing in different places in front of different people, different times, different venues, and seeing their reaction. When you see the reaction of people from live experience, you will ultimately become a better musician. Another thing I would just like to throw out there real quick is I myself have taken college music classes. I took an intro to music class, 2 piano classes, which I passed with an A. That's something else that you may want to look into, but I've seen that too much. I've seen these great, amazing singers, you know, like go out there and just belt out all these notes, and they win this huge competition, and less than a year later, they've disappeared from the public eye. And you know, but I won this competition. But it's singing. I'm gonna say this again. Like, there's a difference between being a singer and a musician. Okay, and I really think that your success will come after learning how to be a musician. And then you combine your musicianship with your experience, and you will ultimately become successful. That is my honest opinion. So keep that in mind moving forward. If you are some sort of a singer and or musician, and even if you're a musician, let's just say you're just a drummer, learn another instrument. Try another instrument. Don't be afraid to get out there and get your hands dirty and try different things. This will ultimately help you grow. And then when you meet other musicians, you'll be more musicianly. You'll be on that level where you can understand the language of music, where you can produce a good sound, where you can, you know, help another musician out who's struggling, etc., etc. This is so key, so important. I can't stress it enough. And that's why I wanted to put it in this movie, because when I look out there in the music industry, it's like, wow, it gives me like a headache. You know, there's so much like undeserved talent, and talent that never stays consistent, that I really felt the need to speak out against it. And I hope this helps you in your future endeavors being a successful musician, singer. Have a great day.